two things that defined my childhood in the 90s were the Disney Renaissance movies and video games. So when I first laid my eyes on the Lion King video game, it was love at first sight. It was based on the movie I loved so dearly, it had all of the amazing tunes from it, and it had the most gorgeous colorful graphics I had ever seen. It was not a healthy love, however. This game did not treat me right. It's one of those games from the past that have been labeled the original Dark Souls due to how unreasonably difficult it is. But I'm not even sure what that means. Dark Souls is a hard game, sure, but it's also a fair game that you can get good at. If there is one thing the Lion King is not, it's fair.
It starts.
Even Timon looks worried. He knows what's coming. The first level is joyful, it's easy and it's fun. Simba explores an area close to Pride Rock where he must deal with enemies such as chameleons, stink beetles, and porcupines. He can eat bugs to replenish lost health and collect special bugs that will extend his health and raw meters. And certain bugs will unlock fun little Timon and Pumbaa themed bonus stages in between levels where the player can earn more lives. The level ends with a boss fight against a hyena, which is pretty scary so early in the game, but it's nothing compared to what's coming up. You see, this is when the game begins to roar its ugly head. I am not exaggerating when I call the second level of The Lion King one of the hardest video game levels ever, and it's easily the hardest second level ever. First, Simba must jump between a number of giraffes, and he must do so quickly before they tilt their heads. The game's jumping has an awkward stiffness to it, however, which makes it difficult to jump far enough when you aren't doing running jumps, which you can't really do here due to the stupidly tiny hitboxes of the giraffe heads. I got so many game overs on this part of the game as a kid that I got pretty damn good at the first level, only to come back here and get another game over. The level also has annoying puzzle sections where Simba must roar at pink monkeys so they'll toss him in the right direction. And he must also ride ostriches, which is doable enough the first time when the game shows you the prompts, but the second time you need to read the environment yourself. And those double jumps are just ridiculous, both with or without prompts. But the worst part of the level, without question, are the rhino tails and their absurdly tiny hitboxes. Simba's paws need to line up pixel perfectly with the tip of the swinging tails, or he won't grab onto them. It's such a laughably cruel design choice that really lends credence to the rumor that this game was designed to be impossible to complete during a rental period. As a kid, that was as far as I ever got, and trust me, things do not get easier from here. The third level is set at the elephant graveyard, and it seems like everyone and their mother wants a piece of Simba here. Even the geysers chase him in an intense platforming section with no margin for error. The level saves the absolute worst for last, however, with a hyena ambush so damn brutal you gotta wonder if the developers hated children. I mean, this torture device disguised as a video game was made for kids, right? It's a Disney game after all. Playing it kind of feels like being steamrolled by a wildebeest stampede though, which just so happens to be the setting of the fourth level. And it's brutal. The fifth level might be the most sadistic, as it puts Simba into a nightmarish alternate version of the first level, with rocks constantly dropping on him and friggin' thorn bushes everywhere. And then there's the beautiful sixth level called Hakuna Matata. What a sick joke. Hakuna Matata, of course, is a Swahili phrase that basically means no worries, but there are frogs and spiders trying to kill Simba everywhere, and a big pimp-slapping gorilla being a major coconut-throwing prick. But worst of all is the waterfall. I have achieved some difficult stuff in gaming, such as defeating the Orphan of Kos in Bloodborne, placing top 3 on the Gauntlet scoreboard in Titanfall 2, and getting all of the Platinum Time Trial relics in Crash Bandicoot 4. But ascending this stupid waterfall by jumping from log to log might be the most difficult thing I've ever done. Being stuck in limbo on this waterfall forever and frantically pressing the jump button to desperately try and advance and stay alive is both physically and emotionally painful. And the overly cheerful Hakuna Matata tune in the background makes it all so much worse, as it feels like the game is making fun of you. Hakuna Matata my ass. This game is a safari of emotions. Things get somewhat easier once you get to play as adult Simba, as those levels are more focused on combat and less on platforming. There is still lots of crap everywhere to rapidly deplete his health, however, like these bats that attack him when he desperately needs to stay out of the lava. Plus, the penultimate level is a friggin' maze with an army of hyenas that respawn every single time Simba re-enters an area. The final boss fight against Scar is incredibly frustrating, as it's exhausting and cryptic. Simba first needs to beat the ever-living shit out of him in 3 phases, which is such a grind, and Scar can, at any point, completely destroy him. To defeat his deranged uncle, Simba must throw him over the edge, but this hidden flip mechanic is never explained in-game. I bet there is still someone out there who's now in their mid-30s waiting for this fight to end who doesn't know that they are supposed to throw Scar. Because without a manual, how would they know? As an adult, I quite enjoy this game as I'm better equipped to deal with all the bullshit now, besides the waterfall, and graphically I think this game is the peak of the 16-bit era. But as a kid, this game frustrated me to tears. The fact that it's a quote-unquote children's game would be amusing had I not been one of the children it tormented. So, is it the original Dark Souls? It's actually more like the original Kick in the Balls. But I'm sure people had been kicked in the balls before 1994. Seriously, why? Just why did they make the Lion King video game so damn hard?
If you ever come back, we'll kill ya!
It starts.
You know what, Timon? More often than not, it stops. It's the circle of death.
Kill him.